Hi everyone, how's it going? I hope you've been having a lovely day. I hope your summer is going very well. Today, we're gonna be talking about Pinguiculas, which I'm gonna be repotting my Mexican Butterwort. And before we do that though, I wanted to show you, this is actually not a Pinguicula, but it's a Butterworts and Sundew, and I wanted to show you guys its blooms because they only open for like a day and then they close, but it's already closing. So I'm not sure if this is actually the pattern of how it grows, but you can see there are a lot of flowers on this one stem, and as it grows, the top flower is the one that blooms and then it dies, and then the next one blooms and then it dies. So it grows like this. And then like when it straightens out, whatever straight dies. I don't know if that's how it's supposed to grow, but I wanted to show you guys because the blooms don't last long and they're already closing, so I think I missed the opportunity. And then I also wanted to show you this one, which I'm thinking of repotting as well. If you've seen my plant tour, you've seen that I mentioned that I moved this onto a little like stool so that it could get more light so it would turn pink, and it's actually working. It's starting to get more pink, so I'm super excited about that. Okay, but into the nitty-gritty of what we're actually here to do today and not just show you all my little plants. Okay, so all of my Pinguiculas are in pure sphagnum moss, and that is, this one came in pure sphagnum moss, so I just left it in that. And then the other ones that I have, when they came in the mail, they came bare root. So I just patted some sphagnum moss down for them, but we need to get them into an actual mix. And I'm not sure if now is the best time to be putting it into a mixture because these do go dormant in the winter time, so they lose these like huge flowery leaves, and they kind of looks more like a succulent, so it turns into a succulent. But I'm not sure with my growing situation if it will actually go dormant, so I'm just gonna repot it now anyways. And as you can see, it's getting huge and beautiful, and I'm not repotting it so that it can get bigger. Like, pings are supposed to have really tiny root systems, like almost non-existent. So if you see this like whole pot it's in, there's like probably going to be minimal roots. We'll see when I actually get to repotting it. And I could also take this time to clean out the trays because they have so much algae growing in them. If you also watched my plant tour, I mentioned that I dropped this plant and I literally dropped it like face down, so a lot of the leaves were smushed and I had to kind of move it, so it's not centered. This is like, the center is very off to the side, so hopefully I'll center it because it's been bothering me a little bit, and hopefully I can repot this with minimal damage because it's so huge and beautiful. So let's just get into that. But first I want to make the mix, and for this mix I'm going to be using pumice, peat moss, and sand. I've never used sand in a mixture before, so I'm really excited. There have been times that I want to use sand, like when potting succulents and stuff, and I have seen sand in stores, but I didn't know if it was actually for plants, and it was in the garden section and everything, but I just didn't trust it. And then I've been watching a lot of videos about carnivorous plants, so pretty much what they say is to use, there's play sand, which is for children, so it's washed and it's supposed to be fine for, you know, plants also. That's what I just pretty much looked up, but play sand came in huge bundles from what I could find on Amazon. So I just found this one. I've never tried it. It says it's desert sand for interior house plants. I'm gonna use it for my plants. I have some peat moss here, and I just recently bought it because I used the rest of my peat moss. It kind of smells like mold, so I don't know if I just haven't smelled peat moss in a while, but I think it smells like mold. The smell has gone away since I've put it in here. So this is the bag of peat moss that I have, and yeah, that's it. Every video that I've watched of Pinguiculas and carnivorous plants, they use peat moss instead of coconut coir. coco coir. So I literally went out of my way to buy this because I want my pings to be happy, and I went out of my way to buy this. Sand, it honestly wasn't that much out of my way, like I'm being dramatic. And then I already had pumice. I think some people use pumice and some people use perlite, so you can use either or, but I just like pumice more because it breaks down less easily, and I think I'm towards the end of my perlite bag, so that's where it gets kind of just like dust. It gets dusty. So I have all my ingredients. There's only 3 ingredients, so it's gonna be super easy. Bring the table over so you can see what I'm doing. But also, by the way, look how cute these little flowers are. So yeah, pings are great. I'm gonna do an equal part of pumice to peat moss. I did wet the peat moss because it was a little bit dry. It's very wet now, very soggy now, but better than dry, because when peat moss is dry it gets super dusty and it literally flies everywhere, so it's probably really bad to inhale. So I would recommend that if you're using peat moss and it's dry, just let it soak a bit, because it does get very hydrophobic. Like if you have bone dry peat moss, it will be kind of difficult to wet, so it's good to let it sit in water so that you can let it rehydrate and it won't be like rolling water off its back like a duck. That's a saying that I've been hearing a lot recently, like water off a duck's back. So yeah, that's what you want to avoid. And so I have the equal parts of pumice and peat moss, and now I'm gonna add the sand that I've never used. I'm gonna make it like 1/4 of the amount. There we go. That's so pretty. I've never used sand. It's so like weird to use, but I like the color of it. It's like a tanner color. And now we can mix it up. Okay. I'm liking how this is looking. We can see all the sand. I'm a little bit nervous of making it too peat moss heavy because these are gonna be literally sitting in water 24/7. The way that I keep them, they're always in water except when they dry out. Like I let them completely dry out right now because I need to clean the tray. Oh, also I forgot to mention that when I wet the peat moss, I used distilled water because these plants can only be watered with distilled water. So we don't want to start off with, you know, having peat moss full of tap water, and then that's gonna harm the plants. We're taking these out so we can look at their root systems. Keep in mind that the leaves are sticky. They have like a sap being secreted by the leaves, which is what catches the bugs. So I don't really want to touch it. My mom gave me these tweezers. They're for nails, her nails. So we'll see if they work. Let's try and get this done nicely. I'm just gonna peel this away. I'm expecting the roots to be very small and this chunk of sphagnum to be empty. So I don't know if you can see the roots here. They're white. They're little babies. And I see there's little shoots of the plant here. I don't know if you can see those, but that is super exciting. Oh, there's some more roots. I'm gonna start using the tweezers now. Let me see if I can zoom you in some more. I'm gonna start using the tweezers now because I cannot tell like what is root and what is sphagnum moss, and it's making me super nervous. So I'm gonna try and pick out only the sphagnum. There's so many babies. I don't know if you can see them here under this broken leaf. You see all those babies? Wow, that's so exciting. Oh no, I just pulled the babies off. So I'm gonna try and plant these. I don't know if it'll work though. If it was someone other than me, there would probably not be this many problems and issues. Like, I'm kind of afraid that I'm gonna kill this plant now because babies just fell off. If you are like really into pings, you're probably cringing so hard right now, like, what is this girl doing? This is all wrong. but this is how you learn. So hopefully I'm not ruining it too badly. And I kind of don't want to continue because I already was so happy to see babies and then I ripped them off. Kind of want to stop here, even though I see so much sphagnum moss still on here, just so that I don't do any more damage. Let's see the other side first. Okay, I'm gonna put it down. I feel like I'm manhandling it way too much. That was so incredibly stressful. But I'm gonna wash this tub out now. And hopefully I didn't just murder my plant, because I for sure murdered those babies. I don't know, I'm gonna try and root them, look up some videos, see what I can do. I'm gonna wash this out and we're gonna be back to hopefully help this plant. All right, so I have a clean tray to put it back in, and I have a clean pot to put in here. So we can get to the actual potting part. I'm not sure how the soil is gonna hold up with these big drainage holes, but we'll see. So right now I am packing the soil more than I would for a regular plant. I have filled this up pretty high. So what I'm gonna do is make like a hole here to put the plant in. So I'm gonna try and delicately pick up this plant. Oh my gosh, a leaf fell off. Oh my gosh, the leaves are falling. I'm gonna take off this other baby because it kind of fell. I'm lowering it in. I'm touching the sticky leaves. And I think I'm gonna pack it like this. Here is the aftermath. A lot of leaves were lost. You can see that, but I think it will be okay. These babies that I was so happy about came off, so I'm gonna plant them in their own separate container. I don't know if they're gonna root or anything, but these are the leaves, 2 good ones, and then these ones were just ones that broke in the fall when I dropped it anyways, so I'm not worried about those. But I'm gonna plant these and then hopefully they'll grow, but we'll see. I found this teeny tiny pot and I hope that it will work. You know, I hope these are gonna root, like that's the first thing, but we're gonna do the same thing. And the last one, which I accidentally smushed. So there they are. They do look really cute though. So here are my 2 plants. That was so much harder than I could have ever expected. I'm kind of like super freaked out by how difficult that was. Like I was not expecting that. These were really easy, but I really think it's gonna be fine because I've dropped it before, like I said, so I think it'll survive. And it's not even gonna take that long for it to bounce back, if it bounces back. And it's made me rethink wanting to repot my other plants. Usually when I would watch videos of other people repotting their whatever these are, they're Pinguiculas, they would already have them planted in soil instead of in sphagnum moss. So when they were repotting them, they would just need to get like tweezers or something, stick them under and just pull them up and it would come out very easily. But since this was in sphagnum moss, roots tend to grow like into the moss and the moss gets tangled, so it's a lot harder to take out. Like you have to unravel it instead of just like boop, pull it out. So that's probably also a reason why this was so difficult. Everything that I have in here came from the same website. All of them, like when I got them, they were still stuck to some soil. Even though they came bare root, they still had a little bit of soil stuck to them. So I didn't remove the soil and I just patted the sphagnum moss around them. So I think it will be easier than this big guy. Oof, that I'm gonna need to rinse and everything. That was definitely an experience, and I really hope these ones will root, but we're gonna put these aside and I'm gonna be brave and I'm gonna try and repot my other pings. So I'm gonna be starting with this one that is actually doing so well, and I showed you earlier that it was turning pink. It's just so beautiful, and my other one was so beautiful too before I ruined it, so let's admire it before I ruin this one. I hate getting this sticky stuff on me. I also want to put it higher in the pot so that it can rest above instead of inside. But oh, look at this beautiful rosette. The roots have grown so much on this one too. I can see them, they're little white roots. I don't really want to repot this anymore. What I'm gonna do, and this might be a horrible idea, let me know in the comments if it is. Doesn't mean I'm gonna change what I've done. But I'm gonna fill the bottom with soil and then plop this on top. I'm not saying it's the best idea, but it's the idea I'm gonna go with. Sorry to my plant if it's an awful idea, but I think it should be fine. And this is gonna be temporary. So you might be like, oh, then why are you doing it then? I already started. It's too late to go back. And then I'm just gonna put this on top like that. So you can see it's more above instead of inside the pot, which is what I want. I think it looks so beautiful now that we can see it. But if you can see that there is like moss here, it's growing on soil. And then surrounding that is some yellowish looking sphagnum moss. So this one, I do think that I can pick up with the tweezers if they would open wider. Wow, did you see that? So here, this is like the little soil nub that it came in, and this makes it like so much easier to put into more soil. So now I'm gonna be able to do that without absolutely wrecking this poor little plant like I did to the others. So this one came in soil. This is the only one that came in soil already, so that one's fine. But we do need to repot this one. If I can find my tweezers. Sometimes I lose my like items that I'm using when I'm filming a video so badly that I need to literally rewatch the footage to watch where I put it. Isn't that so crazy? That's really bad. Oh, I'm worrying this one didn't have soil. I think the soil just like degraded or something. I just realized this isn't even a ping, so I don't even know if they like the same soil. Okay, so I looked up really quickly what mix this plant wants because I am silly and I forgot that this is a completely different type of plant, and I was ready to just go in and pot it up like it was the same type of plant. They need pretty similar care though, so it's gonna be okay. But I do need to get this peat moss or this sphagnum moss. It really clinged to the sphagnum moss, this plant, so it's kind of really difficult to take it off. And now that I'm thinking about it, like when I received this plant, I literally just started taking care of it as if it was a Pinguicula. So now I'm finally gonna like give it the type of soil it wants and everything. So I'm not really able to remove, oh, here we go. Okay, so I got the sphagnum moss off. If you can see, just from that quick little video, I found out these are called tap roots. So I watched California Carnivorous video. I'm gonna clean and then we can come back and repot, and then hopefully everything will be great. Ooh, I'm back with clean stuff. But we're gonna start with the ping. Let me move this. And we're gonna put it into its soil because it's ready to have soil. Oh my gosh, these flowers are just so long. I can pick up the plant by the flowers. That's actually so helpful. Okay, so that was by far the easiest repotting, and honestly how I was expecting all of the pottings to go, not just this one. So that was a really nice change of pace. For the sundew, it needs more peat moss. I'm just gonna add more peat moss because I from the California Carnivorous website, I think it said 3 parts, and it doesn't need any sand, but I already have sand in there, so whatever. I'm gonna be adding, where is it? Oh, distilled water to this to make it so that I can really compact it, because the other ones I was kind of uncomfortable compacting it, but this one, it was emphasized to pack down the soil a lot. So we're gonna pack the entire, I think I put too much water. Pack the entire thing full. There's not much soil on there left, like how the Pinguicula had. That one had a lot of soil left. So there we go, completely packed down, uncomfortably so. Like I've never ever packed down soil this much in my life. And now I'm gonna make a hole. There we go. And we can put this little baby in. Thank goodness it has these little flower buds so I can hold it by. We're gonna lower it in. Bad news, when I was repotting, my camera died. Also bad news, when I was repotting, I was using the flower stems as handles and one broke. But good news is the one that actually broke is the one that completely died anyways. So I would say pretty good in total, but I do need to rinse all of these off because they're muddy. Here's how it's looking. I'll give you a better view at the end of the video, but I don't know. I think it's looking pretty good for my first repotting. This is a struggle plant to repot. But all of these I'm gonna take outside and rinse with some distilled water. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'll find a way. So let's go rinse these and then we can put them back and hopefully they'll be happy. Poke some holes on this lid so hopefully it'll come out like a waterfall and not like a freaking, not a waterfall. It'll come like a nice little sprinkler and not like a waterfall. So I'm gonna rinse off these leaves. I don't think you can even tell. Actually, there's not much dirt on these plants. Maybe this is unnecessary, but I never watered them from the top. Ugh, this is not going as I planned. Okay, I think this is fine. I just need to clean off that, but I'm gonna do that off camera right now. Okay, everything's clean and ready to go back inside now, but look how beautiful the little flowers. This one looks like it's tilting out. I don't know how to make it not do that, but I'll figure it out somehow when I put it back where it belongs. You can kind of see like the pinkiness in this, not really, kind of. So I'm gonna put them back where they live, and all of them look pretty good except for this one. And that one, and this one. Okay, so they're not doing that well, but let's go put them where they belong. Everything's clean now, everything's happy. Okay, these are the ones in the cabinet. This one is the one potted in half sphagnum, half soil. This one is, as you can see, looking very wonky. This is the one that I used. This is a sundew. It's the one that I used its flowers to repot. And you can see that one is broken and it's like weird. I'm hoping it will settle. I didn't repot this one, so it looks fine. This one I think was the best repotting I did. So those are in there. They're so happy drinking their water. We're gonna go look at the other ones now. Here's the one that went through the most suffering. You can see she's missing so many leaves, but it's more centered now and the flowers are still on there. I think it'll heal nicely, hopefully. And here are her little babies that were ripped off of her too soon. I would have rather kept them on there, but I don't know, I'm kind of happy with it. It looks fine to me. So there they are in their natural habitats. Okay, so that's everything. All the plants are back in their little water trays, so they're happy. They're drinking up some water right now. I'm gonna put them back in their homes, but we're gonna end the video out here. Thank you guys very much for watching me struggle trying to get these poor little carnivorous plants repotted. It definitely was a much bigger struggle than I expected, but it's my first time doing it, so I'm gonna cut myself some slack. Also, please cut me some slack if you're a carnivorous plant pro. But yeah, thanks again for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Bye! A couple days after recording this video, I realized that I could have saved the leaves that fell off of this Mexican butterwort and propagated them, but I did not. So just to let you know, I'm aware that I'm dumb and I messed up, but at least I still have those little babies, which I also wanted to update you on the health of these plants. So you can see my Mexican butterwort does have 3 beautiful flowers now, and it's growing beautifully. The little babies, one of them is doing great, the other 2 not so much, and the other ones that I repotted are doing great as well. This gypsicola actually is catching a ungodly amount of fungus gnats, so that's great. And my little rosy one that's supposed to be pink is turning even pinker, so I'm very happy with that. But I just wanted to give you these little updates, and yeah, thank you so much for watching again. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!